Hey there, daily shave. Today, brush, as usual for August, is the Whip Dog Boar brush. Just got back from travel, so I'm back home. The Dart from Blackland razors. I'm really enjoying using it. It's pretty flexible, because as you change the angle, you change the aggression. The blade I've been using for August. Right now it's got 7 uses on it, so we're going to put an 8th on there. We're getting close to the maximum number of uses that I have put on a blade. Williams Mug soap is what we're going to be using. This is just to show you the label, because the actual soap I'm using is the one that's pressed. It was shredded and then pressed into this 4-inch diameter Walmart bowl. And the lather bowl we're going to be using today is this melamine green character from Dollar Tree. Alright, and so let's first start by getting our brush wet. Needs to soak I like to soak mine for a few minutes. I do have hard water at this location, but Williams seems to do just fine in hard water. Okay, so I got that soaking. You don't have to soak your boars. They just need to get wet and be wet for a few minutes before you start to shave. In general, there are some people who I think don't. They want to keep them with a little bit more backbone, and maybe they don't let them get as wet. I don't know how. I would think that would maybe break some bristles, but they said it doesn't. So maybe do some research if you're really interested in that. I've got crazy hair because I just finished driving a very long way, and so I don't care. All right, so we got the brush soaking. So let's talk about, right quick, what I've tried so far, because today is the 6th of August. And so last time I did 45 seconds. I bloomed the soap for several minutes. I ended up adding 1.75 teaspoons to it during the course of the whole lather, and it did need more density after that process. And so I ended up, after this, going back to the soap, getting a little bit more. When I put that on my face, it became the density that I want. And so we are going to try to figure out how to get there without being all complicated. So that is what. And here's the thing. All these where I'm tweaking, they're good shaves. The lather's fine. I'm just trying to get better. I'm just trying to get the best one I reasonably can with a reasonable amount of procedure. I don't want to be all complicated. If it's a really complicated procedure, I'm not going to really. That's not something I won't be interested in, because this type of soap is battling, in a sense, against other soaps out there that lather without even thinking about it. Okay, so there we go. I'm not going to bloom it this time like I did last time. Maybe later on during the month I might start that again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add small amounts. I'm going to start actually with a dry brush. See, what happened even when I bloomed it was that as I started loading the brush in the soap, this light soap lather started to kind of form around, and that's not what we want to shave with. We want something much thicker and denser to form first, and then have us gradually add water to it. I've gotten it before, but it was a longer process, and I want to find a shorter one. Oh, and at the end, unfortunately for me, this ended up to be smelling kind of ladylike, and so I decided to expand my horizons and try it all month. Performance seems to be pretty good, so I'm glad about the brand. Maybe I'll try the original next time. Maybe it's got a more manly type scent. Fortunately, it's only a few dollars. All right, I'm gonna get my face wet. I use cool water, and this water here at this location is hard. All right, so Has the brush soaked for long enough? Yeah, I think so. Oh, let's go ahead and load the blade. That'll let the brush soak for probably the right amount of time. So we've got 7 uses into it. Let's see how far it will go. And here's the X. I try to show that every time so you can know that it was the same blade. If you don't trust me, but if you don't trust me, you just, you know, I could just write another X on another blade, right? But you know, being very careful not to damage the blade edges. Obviously I don't want to get cut by it, but I mainly don't want to have those blade edges touch something that is going to dull them, because I want it to last all of August. Alright, exact alignment every time with the dart. Don't have to worry about alignment, at least with every blade I've tried so far. And now we can go to the brush. It's dripping, so I'm going to sling all that water out because I'm going to see if I can work on a sludge. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. I'm not going to go fast. I'm not even going to time myself. Just gonna go slow and see what kind of lather develops. If it's nice and dense, then I believe this might be a good procedure. Sometimes I think you can get there with this by working on it with water on top of it as if it were in a mug and you were doing that. But then you pour the thin stuff off and what you're left with is the thick. Well, that wastes a little bit of soap. I'm hoping to maybe find a method where I don't have to do that. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. It's not lathering up into something dry, so that's good. Let's start adding water. Now I'm just going to add a small amount, like 6 drops, and I'm also not loading it, not stirring fast. I am going slow so that maybe we don't air this thing up too much. Okay, now another 4 drops. I'm doing extremes because once you hit it at the extreme, then you can start narrowing it down. I don't expect people to count drops like this. I think I'm pretty happy with the way it's going. Another 5 drops. Because I just want to get to that thick paste. Yeah, I think it's building. And when I put a whole half a teaspoon on there, it was too much. It aired up too quickly. And so we're getting some soap on those bristles. This could be just the right thing here. And who knows, maybe it's just the slowness of the stirring. Maybe next time I might try putting more water on there at first and then just stick with slow stirring so that I don't aerate it. Yeah, there we go. See, look at that lather right there. That's what I'm aiming for. Oh, better slow down. Because at some point, what's going to happen? Oh, I think we're starting to get there. See, take a look around. It's not airy. It's staying dense. At some point, the hydration's going to hit right. And what's going to happen is this paste is just going to jump onto the brush. All right, I think we hit it there. It's starting to gather on the sides a little bit. This month is just a big old science experiment. There we go. See, look at that. We do have a little bit of buildup, and it's around the sides there. I'm gonna assume I need a little bit more soap. I could be totally wrong. Just add a few more, several more drops. That is why I like to use that syringe, because adding drops with it is super easy. Some people will just reach down into the sink and use their fingers to add drops, and it wasn't as convenient for me as the syringe. All right, this has got to be, let's just assume that this is enough soap, because I can always jump back, get a little bit more with the puck if I need to. Here, did I already show you? Yeah, I think I already show you. Williams is what I'm going to be using for this month. My original plan was Fine Accoutrements brand and their Santal Absolute. Oh, I really like that scent. But alas, Amazon kind of messed me over, and I didn't have it in time to start. I went to a local grocery store, actually went to 4 or 5 different places, and found Williams. Okay, now I'm just going to add slowly. How about we do, since I'm adding in little drops at a time, how about I do, you know, like 20 rotations and then several more drops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's looking a little airy on the side there, but we'll just keep on going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 20. Since it's looking airy and bubbly, I'm going to just kind of mix it for a little while. And what I may discover while working with this Williams is how to treat other soaps that might kind of behave this way, that need water, maybe they need water added slowly. This is maybe has about 10 uses in it, but it's got a nice big splay and it holds a lot of soap. It's a pretty, seems like it's going to be a good brush if you like the lower backbone, like maybe 4 out of 10 or something like that. Current trend with a lot of different brush makers is to have a higher backbone with really soft tips, but I kind of like them with a little bit less backbone. That time what I did was I worked the soap a little bit more to try to get it to be dents and work some of the bubbles out. Maybe one time I'll try just dumping the whole 2 teaspoons of water in all at once. It might just bubble up and not be usable, but who knows. Sometimes you try those extremes and something trips and teaches you something. It's not that dense and creamy right now. Let's just go ahead and I need this to actually be kind of a quick shave. I forgot about that. It's been a long day driving and got work tomorrow. It's late. Now maybe the water that I just added, yeah, I think I added the rest of the 2 teaspoons. Did I? No, not quite. And now I'm going to add the rest. Let's see if it helps to turn this more into something that's got some cushion to it. I don't know. Kind of airy right now. Okay, so let's do this. We've kind of worked on this for a little while. So let's kind of squeegee out the brush a little bit because it's a little light, a little airy. Okay. Then we will put refill my syringe with another 2 teaspoons. I'm just going to put a few drops there, and let's just do a little bit of loading. And see if now that the soap has had a chance to kind of be moist for a little while, then I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of water to the existing lather, because this new soap that I'm bringing in does need a little bit of water to it. Otherwise it won't integrate with the lather that's already there. It's kind of something I discovered yesterday. Now let's see if this denses up a little bit. Who knows, maybe one time I'll just put that whole 2 teaspoons of water right on the puck and just kind of slowly stir until it all comes together. It'd be interesting to see if that's useful. What happened last time was it didn't really make the existing lather, when I went back to the puck, it didn't make the existing lather more dense. What happened was I went to my face with the lather and the soap had not merged with the new soap hadn't merged with the old lather, and it was like I was face lathering because it was really blotchy and dense. And so then when I I added a little bit of water to the brush, and then boom, I got the lather that I wanted. But I'm trying not to have a two-step process like that. Well, I've got enough of this kind of airy lather right now. You know, I mean, it might, if the resolution is bad, it might look good on camera, but it's not luxurious and creamy like I'm hoping. So the slow stir to build up the lather didn't work. And this is not becoming thicker. I mean, maybe a little bit. Let's just shave with it, see what happens, because we got to get going. It's going to be slick. Give my face another splash of water. This water's pretty chilly. All right. About 24 hours of growth is what we're working with. Hopefully I can, maybe by massaging this, kind of working with it, I can get it to thicken up a little bit. Sometimes you can get the moisture to kind of evaporate a little bit and it'll turn into what you want. See what happens. The scent is no longer an issue. If you're somebody who doesn't want to use Williams because of the scent, I've left it in the open container. And it doesn't even, it's gotten weaker so much that I don't even notice it. Just a light soapy scent at this point. Just takes a few days for that to happen. All right, now look, see how kind of blotchy that is right there? I'm gonna take and put a few drops of water on my brush. Apply them to each cheek and see if we step to creamy. It changes from blotchy to good solid creamy consistency. Some people put their drops of water kind of right in the middle of the brush. But for me, that just seems to go down into the knot and then leak out the bottom of the brush instead of get transferred into the lather. But, you know, try it both ways, see what you like best. Yeah, see, this is looking better. It's still looking kind of blotchy, so I'm continuing to soften it with some water. Face is definitely getting some scrubbing tonight. There we go. Now I hope you can take a look at that. It's much more even. It's thinner but denser. That's kind of where I wanted to hit. Okay, so that's very interesting. What I've got in the bowl is kind of, look at all those bubbles and airy, you know. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Keep playing with it. Okay. As I've mentioned, oh, that feels good. That is a good The lather is really doing its job. I think yesterday's shave was a lot rougher because my first lather was that dry one that I kind of showed you. This is really protecting me. I have nice glide. So, I mean, wouldn't it be interesting if in the end the best, like the Williams, is kind of a two-stage lather. See, but that's why last time I tried to get to that second stage a little quicker by need to remember to be gentle here and kind of keep my skin not super stretched, but just taut, so nothing's going to wrinkle. I tried to get to that second lather by what did I do last time? Can't remember. Oh, by blooming the soap. Because I thought that would get me to that paste, this creaminess here. Want to rinse it off? But you know what? I only bloomed it for about 6 minutes. Maybe I need to bloom it for longer because, you know, you saw how long I was working with that, with the dry lather. And then, and so this tub had a chance to kind of sit there and be moist. So maybe a longer soak is what's needed. A longer bloom. Nice soft bristles here. I may not even need to tap into that airy lather at all. Definitely don't need it for this pass. Pretty funny. Yeah, plenty of lather. I may not, yeah, that'll be funny. I'm going to try to use what's on the brush for the third. Interesting. Second pass, I need to bring my handle angle a little closer to my face, and that reduces the pressure of the blade on my skin in just the right way to make it predictable, uniform, consistent, those kind of words. And if I don't feel cutting, then that's cool. I can raise the handle a little bit farther out. And I was exaggerating there first so you could see it. But just small changes, and then you can turn this razor into a different animal. A lot of nice glide here. Again, I've said it before, but if you get drag with your dart, it's not because they didn't design the razor very well. You have not learned how to make a lather, or you have a bad soap that is incapable of making lather. There we go, second pass. No irritation. This is a mid-aggression razor. I dreaded the third pass. Back when I did all passes at the more open angle of about 30-35 degrees, my skin was so irritated because it was building up. Not anymore. When I started using that open angle for pass 2, 3, then everything was fine. All right. That is hilarious. Let's see if I can just use the soap that's on here. very slick. This is thin and not too creamy. Let's just go into the dry stuff. Look at, by comparison, that's the stuff that I mixed first, and then this little glob right here is the stuff that was, is it? Yeah, that face right there is the old. Look how. Now let's see if I work it a little bit. Let's see if this will join with the other stuff. That'll be a good object lesson. Ooh, it'll fly off the brush. That's one thing it'll do. Yeah, see, it's not condensing at all. It's just staying airy. Maybe I need to stop scrubbing and focus on just painting. Yeah, it thickened up. It thickened up my pass. So as long as I didn't do too much scrubbing. That looks good. Loving this brush, it's nice. My preference is if you like scrubby and something that's really going to get into a soap and dig it out really quick, then this may not be the knot for you. But it's comfortable, gives me a nice lush feeling as I'm, move it around my face. The tips aren't prickly at all. I like it. Okay, here we go. Oh, now that's interesting. See, I don't think I got this feeling before. The higher bubble, the drier, the airier lather, that's that tingling I've been describing in a couple of shaves. It's from that junky lather. All right, well, we know to avoid that. I will try to post in the description whenever I land on the technique that works well and it's easy to do and gives you nice dense lather, and I will go through all my Williams videos and add a pointer to it in case you found this one but not the kind of the better one. I'll probably be yelling, Eureka or something like that on the one where I finally land on it. But this one, at least I had good lather from the beginning. The last time I rescued the lather in a similar way as I did today, but I did it at the third pass. This time I did it before the first pass. So I had that nice lather throughout the whole shave. And there we go. All right, I'm going to pause you while I rinse and look. I think I do see a little bit of length on a few of the tips there. So I think maybe my technique was a little too hurried today. But very comfortable. I've got no irritation. Face feels great. Washing that last third pass on revealed that my skin was just slick. That's why that razor was gliding really nicely around. Really happy with it. Happy with the shave. So we'll keep going. We'll try something else next time. So obviously the loading it super slow, so I didn't get the airy stuff. Obviously that didn't work. I think maybe next time I'll try the longer bloom. We'll see if because the 6-minute bloom just didn't work very well. And so if we can get down into the soap a little bit more, thicken the wetness layer on the top of the soap, because with 6 minutes maybe it just wasn't thick enough. So we'll see what happens next time. And another one I want to try is just putting all of the water in the container at once, the whole 2 teaspoons in this container, and take the brush to it and just go until you've got your lather made and see what happens. That'll be fun to try. All right, well, there we go. And look, this is why people don't like Williams, okay? Because they try to lather it, and look at that. It's airy, huge bubbles. This isn't going to give you a good shave. It'll give you a shave, and it'll still be slick, but it can be a lot better. A lot better. All right. So yeah, this brush almost held as much lather as I needed for the whole shave, and he's only 10 uses old or something like that. So I'm happy with that. I'm happy with the quick break-in time. I mean, it's not fully broken in because what's still left to happen, the splay is doing really well right now. The tips, need to wash it off a little bit. Squeeze it out. I should have showed you what the lather I just squeezed out. It was nice, dense. Gently squeeze out the water. Do a little stropping. And let's see if we can see some tips that are splitting. Many of them haven't yet split. Oh yeah, there's a couple right there in that clump. And as that happens, that's what's going to happen over the next maybe few months, several months, depending on how often I use it. And that is going to be what makes it softer and softer and softer. So the splay right now and the size of it is a nice splay and size for holding enough lather to do the job. So that's cool. We've already checked that mark. So now we can just watch it grow softer and softer as we keep using it. All right. Boom, boom, boom. Let's go with the Afta. Now here's an interesting thing, and I want to try this again today. This is kind of, it's got something feminine. That's the main note. I don't know if it's, my guess is 1/3 of a powdery type scent, and then 2/3 of some kind of floral, kind of a generic floral. And so that's what I'm smelling. And the good news is it doesn't last too long, hopefully. So my wife, you know, as I sleep, it'll go away, and then my wife won't smell it on me tomorrow. But I discovered that if I mix a little bit of Old Spice with this powdery floral, it was an interesting blend. All right, and it was actually enjoyable. So pretty cool. There we go, good shave. I don't think there are any more comments. Man, this lather is hilarious. Look how bubbly that is, and how airy and dry. That's not what you want to shave with. That is not. It doesn't have enough soap content in there. Maybe I should have loaded for longer, you know? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe not. Anyway, I'll write down what I did today so that I know not to repeat that exact same thing. It's one of the reasons I kind of measure and stuff. And I write down a log because I don't want to duplicate the same failure as before. This one, in a sense, wasn't a failure because it was a two-step technique and it got me to a good creamy lather. But I want it to be better. I want it to be better than that. All right. Zero irritation. Face feels great. No cuts. Anything like that. This Afta actually has a little bit of alcohol in it. No stinging at all. Very nice. Good result. Very good result. Happy with that. All right. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Hope there was something here for you that you learned from or enjoyed. Take care. Have a good night.